Okay. Whenever you ready. You can open up.
All right, shalom, shalom. First and foremost, I'm going to start by giving all praise, honor, and glory to
Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahushua, Ba'ashem Kakodash.
Double honors to the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone. Salutations, peace, blessings, and safety to the hopeful elect. This is the brother Abiyah.
Well, Shaquat.
This is going to be a quick lesson, basically inspired by a question that was asked earlier by a guy that came by the camp. And I wasn't there personally, but as I was watching on my way to camp, this particular guy, which we're not gonna go into the details about how he looked and everything, but he asked the question, as brothers was giving him precepts, and he asked the question, why is there not more of you guys out here doing this? Basically saying why is there not more people out there, more brothers out there doing the work? And basically the elder Karatazah answered and was like, that's not our job. All we got to do is just what we doing right now. That's all we set up to do. And first we can get Matthew 4 and 19.
Yeah, I read start at 18 just because I want to. Matthew chapter 4 verse 18. And Yahushua, walking by the Sea of Galilee, saw two brethren, Simon called Peter, and Andrew his brother, casting a net into the sea, for they were fishers. And he said unto them, follow me, and I will make you fishers of men. And they straightway left their nets and followed him.
Yeah, so we come in that same stead, man. It's, brothers come from many different walks of life, have many different careers and different skills that we've had in the world. And in some way you apply those skills in the truth. And Yahushua was speaking particularly to Simon Peter and Andrew, and their particular profession was to be or was fishermen. And Yahushua said, I will make you fishers of men, man. Basically coming and preaching the word, I will make you teachers, and you gonna preach this word and gather men rather than gathering fish.
I got one right quick. Jeremiah chapter 16 verse 16, I believe it is. It says, behold, I will send for many fishers, saith the Lord, and they shall fish them. Right? And that's breaking down, talking about fishing out the elect. Okay, this goes into the parable of the not the sower. What's the other one? Yeah, the sower. That is one of them. What's the other one I'm thinking? Yeah. Matter of fact, the parable of the sower is good because it's talking about the same idea. Our job is to make sure that seed grows. Plant the seed and make sure it grows. Once it grows, then the reapers will come and separate who's right and who's not. He'll separate the tares from among the wheat.
Most High gonna get that increase. He gonna quicken whoever is meant to be quickened.
That's right.
All right.
That was the point, so we ain't gotta read more on that.
And just speaking on that fisherman, man, when you think about just certain characteristics of an actual fisherman, they have characteristics that's similar to that of a prophet. Fishermen have to be they have to be very patient in their craft, man, because you can't just go out there and cast the line and think you're just gonna grab a fish
immediately.
You may, but they don't expect that off the rip. And us teaching this word, you can't just expect to get it right away, or to speak to somebody and for them to get it right away. You got to be patient in this thing. Patience is a very important trait when you come into this truth.
Right.
As well as being a fisherman, they're very skilled. They know what to do. They know how to do it. They know what areas of the water to go to. What certain fish eat, bait, things like that. That's like unto us teaching this word. You got to deal with certain people a certain way. You got to know how to talk to certain people. Some people you may have to be a little more rough with. Some people you may have to speak to be like unto all men, rough and fair.
Yeah, I was trying to think where I was at right now. So you know how to answer every man.
Yeah.
I forgot, the brother read it earlier too, but I forgot what. You gonna look it up?
Is that second? Let me see.
Corinthians? I don't know where. I can't think of where it's at off the top of my head. How we ought to speak to every man. Season with salt. It's the quote. Yeah, when you grab it, I'll grab it too. Yep. Colossians. Yep. He did say Colossians. Now that I remembered it. Where's it at?
You can start at 5.
What chapter? I'm sorry. 4.
Chapter 4. Yeah.
Yep. 4 and 5. It says, yep. Look, I got it. It says, walk in wisdom toward them that are without, redeeming the time.
Yep. And that's part of that skill, you know. And it's another precept. I'm not gonna get it, but it's we quoted it earlier. You know, being apt to teach. You know, and when you go into that word apt to teach, it says being skillful in learning. Teaching. Skillful in teaching. Going back to, you know, walking in wisdom toward them that are without. You got to realize the people that we preaching to, they are coming from the world. They are coming from a place of ignorance. So a lot of people are you know, they have their minds seared with their different philosophies. Some people are going to be harder to persuade, so to speak.
Yeah, hold on. I got one. I think it's 1 Corinthians though. 1 Corinthians chapter 12, I think it is. Yeah. 1 Corinthians chapter 12, verse 1, it says, now concerning spiritual gifts, and brothers have certain gifts and skills that they're born with. I think about the show The Walking Dead. And in the first season, who was it? Daryl. I don't know if brothers watched it, but Daryl, he was that outdoorsman type of, he had the crossbow and all of that. So he had hunting and tracking skills. So they were hunting and tracking people, hunting and tracking certain zombies or whatever, where they was going. He had that skill that he used. But then he asked Glenn, I believe the guy, the Asian guy's name was Glenn. He asked him, hey man, what did you do before this? He said, I was a pizza delivery guy. But he knew how to line up the logistics of the city, how to move around. So he was able to use his pizza delivery skills into the world after it collapsed. You know, same with us. Some brothers have different vernaculars, grew up in, like I grew up around in an educated background, so I grew up around some white people with higher education speech, and then I also grew up around some hood niggas too. So I know how to speak both and understand both street scenarios. And then some brothers may study skills. Some brothers may just relate to people and can read spirits better. And the scriptures go into that, I think, down in this chapter. But here's the point of this, if I may just read it. It says, now concerning spiritual gifts, brethren, I would have you not ignorant. Ye know that ye were Gentiles carried away unto these dumb idols, even as ye were led. So we were in that Gentile state of mind before too, of not knowing, of needing, of being without. Going back to that scripture, we were without the understanding before as well. And eventually, once we begin to get it, now we have to learn and be apt to teach, become skillful in teaching how to give it to others. And the brother read that one, and I think it was 1 Timothy's also, the 3rd chapter.
And the scriptures also say every man cleave to his like. So if you are relatable to somebody, they're going to listen to you more. You know, somebody from the hood ain't going to necessarily hearken into somebody who's
the college educated scholar,
more articulate,
right?
You know, it's using words that they can't understand. It's gonna go one way or not the other.
Yeah, scenarios that they never been into. Yeah. But if you teach it to a street guy, and you break it down in a street scenario, in the gang banging world, it was like this, and then this was still an integrity and blah 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 blah. You start, then he get it because it's a world that he come from, and that's our job, to be skillful in that, not to be ignorant of those differences when we're teaching. All right, that's why the apostles are so good at what they do, because they hit on all these different levels, and now they've groomed us to be on a level, to look up these words and become scholarly at learning, so we can become scholarly at teaching. All right, what you got?
Back to Colossians chapter 4.
Let me go there for you. Colossians 4. I think was where you said we was at.
Verse 6.
Yeah, it's like it. It says, I will read 5 again. Walk in wisdom toward them that are without, redeeming the time. Let your speech be always with grace, seasoned with salt. Man, hey, give that grace, man. Give somebody the benefit of the doubt, man. Give them some skill in what you're talking about. Like, try to do. You have to bend to be You can't just, hey man, I'm just gonna shoot plain and just be all extra rough with the message. This might not be a rough-minded brother that takes that energy on wrong. Imagine like today, if we'd have just came at him rough, he might not have got it.
Right.
He might have been sent up the street. And how bad would we feel if he ended up being on a chariot of the elect and somebody else brought him in when he came to us? That's a shame on us. You know, but us setting the foundation, planting that seed, you know, could set him up for where he's supposed to be at. Okay, it says, because I think this is part of the point that you're making in this lesson. It's not only the test of them coming into the truth, but how we deal is part of it, how we teach. If there's no guile found in our mouth, if there's no issue with the way we teach, if we're out there doing the right thing. So let your speech be always with grace, seasoned with salt. Hey, give brother some flavor on it, man, so they can better understand it. That ye may know how ye ought to answer every man. All right? Being able to relate to that man is important. Whether it's an Edomite-looking man, an Asian-looking man, use something that you may have read about from their culture that they grew up in and show them the differences. This is different skill levels that you can do. That is always going to be beneficial to edifying. All right?
Beautifully said, bro.
You what you want next?
Matthew 13, starting at 47.
Yep, one of my favorite chapters. Matthew, so like 13 to 47, where it says, again, the kingdom of heaven is like unto a net.
And that's what we preach. We preach the kingdom of heaven. We're as those fishermen, and you know, sometimes fishermen use nets to catch fish. Right? We casting out the net, meaning we preaching the word. All right, and then you continue. Now
I was gonna quote a scripture real quick. Matthew, I think it's the 22nd chapter, talking about the wedding feast, and he said, "Bring everybody in." Bid everybody. Just bring all that will come in. Bring them all in. And then then he found somebody that wasn't worthy to be in there, that wasn't dressed with a wedding garment, and cast them out. But but that wasn't what he told you. Bring in the lame, the sick, all of these. Bring everybody into this feast. Anybody that can get, there's still room. Bring them all in, man. Anybody that bring them all in, and then the reapers, as we talked about the parable of the sower, will come and sort out who's who. Yeah. Okay, our job is to bring everybody in.
Yeah, you got a lot of Israelites now that focus too much on who's listening and who's following them. You know, it's not so much about that. You know, like you're saying, man, the Lord gonna make that separation. Man. It's all you bathe them, so you know the Lord gonna do the sorting after that, man.
That's right. I read it. It says this is Matthew chapter 13, verse 47. Again, the kingdom of heaven is like unto a net that was cast into the sea and gathered of every kind, even the heathen kind, because we don't know who got the spirit and who don't, but we had to cast it. So if there's a brother that may look like a heathen, as was today the example, it don't matter. Just catch him with what we know about him. But we just relate to him as we relate to people. Well, we're going to tell black culture stuff only to a white guy or whatever. He may not get that. We have to preach unto a way that all people get. That's where the seasoning with salt come in.
Yeah, it kind of made me think of like when you fishing, when you throw some bait out, you know, there may be some little minnows that come nibble off of it. It may be some, you know, a bigger fish that comes. It may be a frog, you know, it may be all these different kinds of things that's coming to, you know, nibble off that bait. Some of those fish are not going to be satisfied with that bait, you know, meaning that word. Some of them is going to, you know, taste it and spit it right out. Some going to swim right past it. Yep. Others going to eat it up, man.
Beautiful, because that's up higher in the chapter talking about the parable of was it the sower? No, not the sower. No, I was quoting the parable of tares and the wheats earlier, but I'm thinking now about the parable of the sower. So like up higher in the chapter.
You know, 13?
Yeah. Let me just look at it to find out the exact name. Yeah, him it is not given. Let me see. The parables. Where did it go? Salakia, bro. Yeah. When he breaks it down, the parable of the sower. Yeah, that's the one I was thinking of, but I said I meant the parable of tares and the wheats earlier. But the parable of the sower, there's plenty of things that's going to sift people out, plenty of situations, and the Lord has those set up. But those that are not meant to be sifted out, that are meant to get it, they gonna remain through all situations. Let me get back to what you had me getting. Matthew 13:48. Now it says, which when it was full, they drew to shore and sat down and gathered the good into vessels, but cast the bad away.
Yep. So we're like unto those vessels as well. And once that net gathers those people, once the word is out and it enters into the ears of whoever hears the word, then the Lord begins to make that separation. He begins to separate. It's gonna say.
Yeah, it actually is. I was reading it. Verse 49. It says, "So shall it be at the end of the world," which is the time we're in and that we're prophesying about. It says, "The angels shall come forth and sever the wicked from among the just."
Yep, that's that sifting, man. That's that separation in which either the Lord gonna open your mind to receive this word and allow you to begin to labor in that work to receive salvation, or He gonna block your mind from receiving it, and then you're gonna be the ones cast away into that fire, that lake of fire.
Yeah, and it says 50. It says, "And shall cast them into the furnace of fire. There shall be wailing and gnashing of teeth." And we also know in Matthew the 7th chapter it says, "Not everyone that calleth and said, Lord, Lord, shall enter into the kingdom of heaven." It said, "But haven't we done miracles in thy name?" It said, depart from me, those that do iniquity. I never knew you." Like, whoa, but I was invited into this thing. And Elder Brother Karazazar also says he had a great saying. He said, the Lord brings into this truth those He loves and those He hates. Like, He has to, man, think about how heavy that is. Because if you preach this and He really hated you and it's not meant for you, you got to get them stripes, man.
And that's like, those fish. You have unclean fish and then you have clean fish. Those fish that are unclean, they unclean. They're not edible, but at the same time, they still have a purpose in the earth, man. It's like these people who not receiving this truth, they still have a purpose in the earth.
Even a purpose in judgment.
Yeah. To
show the example, especially the 2/3 of Jake, that even our own people can get it, man. Right? Just as bad as a heathen would get it. What you want now?
Ezekiel 3.
Yep. Work.
Starting at 11.
Easy 3 and 11. Which says, Ezekiel 3 verse 11 says, "And go, get them of the captivity, get thee to them of the captivity unto the children of thy people, and speak unto them, and tell them, thus saith the Lord power, whether they will hear or whether they will forbear."
Yep. Going back to Isaiah 51:8, man. Cry aloud, spare not, man. Go
58:1.
Slucky. 58:1.
Yep.
Going and just preaching the word. Just do what you was set up to do.
Yep.
All right. Whether they're gonna listen or not, it's not up to you to try to force it into nobody. It's not up to you to you can only say so much, man. It's if the Lord is dealing with them, if the Spirit is dealing with them, they're gonna receive it, whether it's early or whether it takes a little bit.
Right. I'm gonna jump down to 17, right? Ezekiel 3:17, "Son of man, I have made thee a watchman unto the house of Israel. Therefore hear the word at my mouth and give them warning from me." That's the job. It didn't say who, but it said all of them. But look what it say next. It says, verse 18, "When I shall say unto the wicked, thou shalt surely die, and thou givest him not warning, nor speakest to warn the wicked from his wicked way, to save his life, the same wicked man shall die in his iniquity. But his blood will I require at thine hand, because you didn't warn him." Right? Verse 19, "Yet if thou warn the wicked, and he turn not from his wickedness, nor from his wicked way, he shall die in his iniquity, but thou hast delivered thy soul." We did our job. It ain't our job to choose who make it. It's just our job to teach to everybody. Just put it out there.
Exactly. And just like, we use this example all the time in a burning house. You got people in a burning house. You got some people sleep. You got some people that's just, not paying attention. And it's up to you to go and warn them, man. You yelling fire, you yelling get out, And you have some people that's gonna take heed to that alarm, and they're gonna leave and be safe from that fire. And you have some that's gonna be like, man, ain't no fire, man. What you talking about? You have some people that's gonna stay, in that deep sleep. They're not listening.
That's right.
And then they're gonna get burned up. But you did what you were supposed to do. You gave the warning. They chose not to listen. So that's on them. That blood is no longer on your hands.
That's right. Well, next.
We can just close out with St. John 10 and 27. Because at the end of the day, again, all we set up to do is just do our job, preach the word, in truth and sincerity. All right, and whoever the Lord sees fit to receive it is going
to get it. Right. John chapter 10 verse 27. Checking 26. I better start at 25. It says, Yahushua answered them, I told you, and ye believed not. That ain't up to us, but he did his job like we do it. We told you. I had a coworker. I love how she said this shit, man. She kind of listened to this a little bit, but not really us. But anyway, she said, he said, I won't. He said, don't say I didn't. I told you so. No, how's it go? Don't say I didn't warn you, and I won't say I told you. Oh, yeah, how's it go?
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? Yeah, I forgot how it go.
Don't say
I didn't told you so.
Don't say I didn't tell you.
I think you said it right. Don't say I didn't warn you, and I won't say. I told you so.
Right. Don't say I told you so, and I won't say I didn't warn you. Something I fucked it up, but it was something to that effect.
Like I'm not gonna rub it in.
But don't say I
didn't say nothing.
Yeah. Don't bring it up, and I won't bring it up. We both know that I told you, and we both know what happened because you didn't listen. Type of deal. I remember that exactly. It was better how she said it. I said it before, right?
Have they not heard?
Right, and that's the scripture that go with it, right? John 10 and 25. I told you, and ye believe not. The works that I do in my Father's name, they bear witness of me. But ye believe not, because ye are not of my sheep, as I have said unto you. And the same thing with breaking this down. This is a miracle. This is a work of miracle, us breaking this book down in the right spirit, where everything lines up. How many times have people heard this word broken down and it hasn't been broken down the right way? This is the right way. Know how we know? Because there's some joyful things in it that sound real good, but then there's some bitter. It's the bitter and the sweet. Some bitter things like, damn, we got to go through this shit too? We don't get this. Nope, you got to go through it, and you're going to have to believe the whole way through, and I'm going to make sure you are this, and I'm going to make sure this happens, and you got to take the low, and man, it sucks. But at the end of the day, what would you say, the groanings, not the groanings, the sufferings are not to be compared with the kingdom to come, man. Verse 27, it says, my sheep hear my voice, and I know them, and they follow me.
And that's what it all boils down to, man. The prophets are going to stand in a lot of the prophets. They're going to do their job, and they're going to preach the word, in its entirety, not adding to it, not taking from it, not sparing, meaning, hey, you're going to tell it raw. And whether these Israelites hear or whether they forbear, whether they receive this or not, hey, that's up to the Lord. That's between them and the Lord, man.
Right. I used to say, we give a spiritual PSA, a public service announcement to the people. Hey, the Lord didn't have to do it this way, man. But he chose to have us out there giving his warning, giving his public service announcements to everybody. And whether you take heed to the information or not, that's on you. But the message went out. Have they, like you said, have they not heard? The line went out to all the earth. And another one was
if I had not preached unto them.
Yeah.
I can grab it.
Yep, Baruch Hashem. Where is that at? When you find it?
It's John 15.
John 15.
22.
John 15 verse 22 says, yep, but 21. No, 22. If I had not come and spoken unto them, they had not had sin. But now they have no cloak for. Is that right?
Yeah. Unless there's another one, but that goes back to if you was what we read. Ezekiel.
Mm-hmm.
He was told to go warn the wicked.
Right.
If you hadn't went and warned them and told them right from
Right.
wrong,
Yep.
then they had.
Yeah. Yeah, we couldn't. You couldn't condemn you
There
because
is
we
no
told
wrong.
you. Yeah, we couldn't. You can't be condemned because you didn't know, but
Right.
you can't say you didn't know now.
Yep.
Don't say you didn't know, and I won't say I told you so. I think that's how it goes.
Yeah.
So like,
That's it, bro.
right? Yeah. What was the one I said? But thine eyes shall see thy teachers. You know what that one's at? Yeah. Your search is better and faster than mine. They're typing. Isaiah.
Isaiah 30 and 20.
Yeah. So there's no excuse, man. I didn't know those guys. Hey, man, you knew. You knew it was us. 30 verse 20. It says, yep. It says, and though the Lord give you the bread of adversity and the water of affliction, yet shall not thy teachers be removed unto a corner any more, but thine eyes shall see thy teachers, and thine ears shall hear a word behind thee, saying, This is the way, walk ye in it, when you turn to the right hand and when you turn to the left. What's the one with the Ethiopian eunuch? I'm trying to remember where that's at. How can I accept I have a teacher?
Hold on. Oh, I think you thinking of the one I was thinking about too.
Yeah. Because I'm confused trying to figure out one of them, but I think you might know what I was thinking.
I think this is the one because I was just thinking about it.
Yep. Except
Romans 10.
Yes.
That's it.
Yep, that's it. Romans. Let me get it, bro.
14.
Yeah, Romans chapter 10, 14. Yep, beautiful. Call all y'all about your shot. Romans 10 and 14. How then shall they call on him in whom they have not believed? And how shall they believe in him of whom they have not heard? Because they said faith come by hearing, and hearing by the word, right? It says, and how shall they hear without a preacher? And how shall they preach except they be sent? And it's for them, right? As it is written, how beautiful are the feet of them that preach the gospel of peace and that bring glad tidings of good things. Man, that was beautiful, bro. That was the one I was really thinking.
So the Lord is making sure He has men out there preaching His true word,
and giving them warning from Him.
And everybody's gonna hear this word, man. But only some are gonna receive it. Some that are ordained, those that are ordained from the beginning, man.
That's right.
That's all I got, bro.
Yeah, I was thinking of one more, but I think the point's been made.
How it go?
I'm trying to remember how it went. It was I don't know why I'm thinking this in Matthew. But it was that's the point, bro. We'll leave it there. So you close it, brother.
Hey, Lord willing, it was edifying. With that, we're gonna give all praise, honor, and glory
to Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahushua, Ba'ashem Ruach.
Double honors to the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone. Salutations to the hopeful elect. Until next time, Shalom.
Shalom.